Hello, everyone out there. We're back at Purple Acorn here live from RecFest. My name is Jada. We are taken from the desk with Jada Montemarano right here to the orange table at RecFest, and I am joined by Emily. How are you doing today?
I am so well. How are you?
Good, good. So now explain to everyone out there who you are and what you do and why you're here at RecFest.
Yes, I'm Emily Wares, and I'm here at RecFest representing Kyle & Co. So I'm our head of advisory and client services. We help enterprise organizations optimize their hiring process. So that's really my role and my function with the organization. And so being at RecFest is really helpful because I get to talk to practitioners that are doing the job every single day. I get their real-time feedback, understand the challenges, the opportunities that they have, and really why they're here to look at vendors or have really good dialogue with people that are doing great work with technology.
Yeah, there's so many technology vendors here. I mean, we're going to get to it. The buzzword of AI, obviously, it's everywhere. So is that something you do while you're here? You look at different vendors or technologies that would make it easier for your clients?
Absolutely. I think there are so many vendors in this space. And for TA practitioners that are doing their job on the day-to-day, it's really hard to look up and then not only assess your environment, but then understand the full landscape and how do those vendors match their particular use case to drive the value and outcomes that they're looking for. So certainly we are spending a lot of our time not only talking to practitioners, but understanding that vendor landscape, understanding how they're creating value for different organizations and how we can pair them together.
Is there anything that has been super interesting to you that you've learned so far, or anything you're taking back with you?
I think, to your point, the AI space, I am so absolutely impressed by how many AI interviewers have popped up almost overnight. It seems wild to me. We were giving it the space a look, and then we learned that there's about 50 AI interviewers on the market right now. And just to discern how they're different, how they're similar, how you go about purchasing or making choices on those, we're diving right in.
Oh my gosh. So can you explain a little bit about that? Because you're the first person to actually bring that up specifically. So if anybody's watching who doesn't know, what is an AI interviewer? How does it work?
Sure. So when you think about the marketplace right now, most organizations are hit with a tidal wave of applicants. And so they're trying to figure out, how do I best calibrate and prioritize those candidates in that funnel to serve up to my hiring leaders and to give to my business. And before, we used to be able to look at that by screening at scale, if you will, or grading those applicants. But now with AI interviewers, people are able to, quote unquote, interview everybody. And so you're seeing it pop up where it's like, let's give everybody the opportunity to showcase their skills, showcase their talents through AI interviewers, and let's do that at scale. So before it was like we're grading people, now we're having conversations with everyone.
Wow, it's like scary but interesting at the same time.
It is very interesting. And so I think that's the best part about RecFest is how are recruiters receiving that?
Yeah.
Because recruiters love making that human connection.
Yeah.
They love those types of conversations. So it's like, how do they perceive that right now? And that's really what I'm learning here.
And what have you learned from recruiters? What have they been saying?
You know, it's 50-50. People love to have that streamlined top of funnel, get the best candidates in front of their hiring leaders in short order. And others really enjoy that process of building those relationships because sometimes if that candidate isn't a fit, we might want to reach back out to them at another time. And you kind of miss that opportunity if you're not participating. So I'm learning still.
And how does that work? The AI session, they take notes, how does that process work to get to the person?
You know, they're all so different right now, but a lot of the times they are going to have that screening question. So it's like your minimum qualifications. Candidates will go through and answer some of those questions. The AI interviewer will capture that information and normally push it over to an ATS. So it will automate kind of the notes and the feedback. But they're all a little different. And so it just depends on which one that you choose. But I would say overall, that's going to be the main thing that you're going to see.
And then from the job seeker perspective, do we know it's an AI interviewer? Do they let you know? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. I mean, an AI interviewer kind of tells on itself.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, soon they probably won't be, but.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. But right now, candidates know what they're engaging with because it's really transparent as part of that process. So after I apply, it might even be as seamless as part of my apply process. It might be a follow-up. And so most of the times they're going to understand what the next step is and then who they're engaging with or what they're engaging with.
Wild. Is there anything else on the horizon that you've seen that you want to bring back to your clients other than AI? Or is that just everything at this point?
I think it's really just an education and an understanding. Like to your point, it really depends on who the organization is, where their problem areas are, their opportunities are, to then give them, more technology that's available. But I would say that top of the funnel, if it's sourcing, if it's employer branding and marketing, the interviewing, all the way up to receiving that information. So I think there's some really cool tools right now that are helping hiring leaders provide feedback and then get that back to the recruitment teams. And you're seeing that kind of in that interviewer or scheduling automation elements.
And are there specific problems that they're bringing to you that they're like, we need to figure out how to make this easier or fix this? Is there or a few common that you're hearing?
So most of my clients that I've worked with over the last 4 years were able to shave off 30 days of their time to fill. And a lot of that is based on that friction that they experience through those different steps of when a candidate applies to when I have to wait for feedback to interviewing with the hiring leader, waiting for feedback again. So I would say that operational process optimization is a really big element of opportunity for organizations. So it is about AI, but it's also just going back to basics, taking a look at your process and understanding what you have and where you can create some efficiencies.
Yeah, how to make it easier, because just from the seeker perspective, sometimes you could go like 3 weeks before hearing anything, and it's like, what if that was a great candidate and they had to move on or look for something else, and then it's lose-lose.
Well, and nothing's worse than when you have an interview that you're super excited about, you met the whole hiring team, and then you're waiting 2, 3, 4 days. And if you're really good talent in front of you, some of the same rules still apply no matter how much AI is involved. There's an opportunity to have another offer come in, and then that candidate moves because you didn't make that decision fast enough, or you didn't aggregate all your feedback fast enough with the whole team to make those choices, put that offer letter together. So some of those things are still very relevant.
And how does that work now with the use of AI, and also just maybe how it's done in general to get that feedback? You've talked about that a lot, of getting the feedback from multiple people on the team. So how does that usually work? How is AI helping with that? Because I've never really heard that too much before, of like, oh wait, we need to get together and see if this person's good enough.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, we've seen a huge uptick in just our meetings, right? So you and I will have like a Zoom meeting, and a lot of people will have AI note takers.
Yep.
And so I think that vendors have picked up on the fact that, like, how do I bake that into our technology so that they don't have to go to a separate tool, get all of that information, put it into the ATS. And so that is some of the elements that we're seeing optimize the very basic, aggregating the notes, aggregating those note takers, if you will, and then putting that in the ATS so that someone's not manually putting that information, or you don't have to have, 2 to 3 calls with the interview team to get it. It's all automatically right there. The AI will summarize it and give it to the recruiter. So even those little small points of friction can make a huge difference.
That's what I've heard a lot from those I've spoke to in talking about AI, because obviously we're in the people business here with talent and HR. Human is in the name. But from some recruiters you were saying that are 50-50, from the ones who don't love the AI, they do like the fact that it just makes their day-to-day easier, even if you're just using it for the operational, not for the person on person, right?
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting. Like, a lot of people get a little nervous about AI, like it's going to take over my job. But really, most of the leaders I talk to that are adopting AI right now, they don't want to get rid of any of their people.
Yeah.
They want to create scale and capacity. And I think once recruiters understand, like, wow, this really helps me do my job better or well, or reach out and build more relationships, then you see that shift start to happen. And I think, again, just what we talked about earlier, it's just an education moment.
Yeah.
And how does it fit into that culture and the current process today?
Yeah, so speaking of that, how, when you're working with your clients and these companies are adopting a new technology, bringing it in, how is it successful to do that trickle down to the workers to actually use it and adopt it and not be scared of it? Is there like a best practices for that?
Yes, certainly. What we've seen is people starting really intentional use cases in small snippets. So if you think about using an AI interviewer, let's just say that, or automating your interview scheduling, it's, hey, let's try this for all of our sales roles in this particular region. And then let's see if it's successful. And let's start small, and then building that business case of success and socializing and campaigning that. And then you can be like, all right, this was successful. Let's start it in another business group, and then just keep expanding. And I think once people are able to see it, see the value, see the benefit, see the cost savings, then they'll start to gravitate to it. But it really is about being intentional and understanding those measurable outcomes that you're looking for. Because if you just go in to say, I want something beautiful, shiny, and new with no real intention behind it, it's going to fail. And then you're not going to be able to.
It's a waste of money.
grab on to those business cases. Exactly. It's a waste of money.
It kind of reminds me of when like fast food chains do like test cities on new items. They'll test it out in a few cities and be like, okay, it's good. We can bring it nationwide.
Yes. Yes. It's a great comparison. And I love when they do that.
I love that. I bring it to the layman's terms here on my show. So I love to end to give those job seekers advice, right? We're in kind of an unprecedented time of jobs. There's not enough jobs. There's too many. There's not enough people. There's AI, all of that. So from any of your experience that you have, is there one tip that you would most give to a job seeker that's looking for a job right now?
You know, we have the unfair advantage because we've been in TA and TA tech most of our careers. But I would say, hands down, if I was going to be looking for a job today, I would go to my community.
Okay.
I would go to my network. I would talk to the people around me. And I think networking is one of the best absolute ways to find a new opportunity or hear about something that maybe not be so public, but, you know, customizing your resume, being really intentional about where you apply, making sure it's a fit that never gets old, but network.
Every
Use your
answer
network.
is like, no more AI, go in person. Talk to the people.
People matter. People matter.
It really does.
Yeah.
And I love that is still at the base of it,
Yes.
is that humanity, which
It really
I love.
is. It always will be. It always will
Awesome.
be.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us
was
today.
a
I really
pleasure.
appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
Sometimes on these shows, I'll hear similar things over and over, but I learned something new today about these AI interviews.
I
So thanks for
love
bringing that to the show. And appreciate all of you watching out there on the live stream. That is it for me today here at RecFest. I'm Jada Montemarano. Thank you for watching and hanging out. We have some other hosts and some other interviews back to back all day on the final day of RecFest today. So thank you all for watching, and don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a second.